Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Well Worth It channel. This is my review on Wrestlemania 42. In my opinion, this is the worst Wrestlemania ever. Before this, the Giant Gonzalez versus Undertaker, that was the worst Wrestlemania ever. But I would truly rather watch the Giant Gonzalez versus the Great Khali. Two slow and not great wrestlers. In the Giant Gonzalez, on his behalf, he had a lot of medical problems, so I shouldn't be speaking ill of him. Rest in peace. But furthermore, the show started off. The first half an hour was all about a YouTube influencer, I Show Speed. Who really cares about this guy? Really, you know? I didn't even know who this guy was until he started showing up in WWE, and I still don't care about him. I know a little bit about what he does, and his followers are adolescent teens. If you're 12 to 14 or 12 to 15, this guy might be your idol, or you might think he's cool. Other than that, if WWE's target audience is the 12-year-olds, they're doing the right thing. And what surprises did we have? Paige? Like, that's not a real big surprise. I mean, we already had AJ Lee come back. Paige has said on the internet a few times that she's coming back. WWE said, no, you're not. And here she is on night one, winning the Women's Tag Team Championship with Brie Bella. Before Nikki Bella was ruled out for this match, I called the Bella Twins winning because, as we know, they have never won the Women's Tag Team Championship. Those belts didn't exist when those women were wrestling. So I already knew that they were going to win. But once Nikki was taken out, I wasn't so sure. Now, I think the biggest spot of the whole night was Jelly Roll doing the elbow drop on the table there, on the announcer's table. And I think it's pretty sad that WrestleMania is all about influences now and celebrities. Back in the day, celebrities were, it was a surprise. Like when they brought Mike Tyson in to referee the Bret Hart versus Steve Austin fight. Now, when they did that, it made sense, Or when they brought LT in to beat Bam Bam Bigelow, it was a once in a while thing. Now they have celebrities beating their wrestlers. They make the wrestlers look weak. Especially the match with Jelly Roll and Kit Wilson on, what was it, Raw or SmackDown? It was ridiculous. Kit Wilson should have won that match. Kit Wilson is not the biggest or best wrestler. No, not by any means. I'm sure he's going to be a jobber for the rest of his career. But he should not be losing to Jelly Roll. No wrestler should be losing to Jelly Roll. And this was probably the most predictable WrestleMania ever. I only got one match wrong, and it was on night 2, the Intercontinental Championship match. I thought that Javon Evans was going to win that match. I'm glad that he did not, because a little bit about Javon Evans, I do like him. I think he's very athletic. I think he's a good wrestler, but he doesn't have a character. Everything Kevin Nash said was right. And if Javon Evans was smart, he would have said, thank you, Kevin Nash, because Kevin Nash was very successful in the 8 to 10 years that he actually wrestled. He was involved a lot more years than that, but if you look back, he was Diesel for 3 to 4 years, and then he was in the NWO for another 4 years. And 2001 was pretty much the end of Kevin Nash's career. Yeah, he came in once in a while, but that was it for his wrestling. 94 to 2001. What's that, 6 years? He showed up in 93, 94 as Diesel. Yeah, he was Vinny Vegas in WCW before that, but now we're getting off the topic. So, the main event of night 1, I really would have loved to see Randy Orton win that match and get his 15th world title. But I actually made a short video, if you guys go back and watch. I explained why Randy Orton will never win his 15th World Championship. I read on Ringside News that the original plan was for Randy Orton to win that match. But we all know that Paul Levesque has the biggest ego of all, and he can't let anybody pass that. John Cena is the only one who's passed him. Him and Randy Orton are tied at 14, and he doesn't want Randy to be higher on the ladder than him because he's the chief content officer. But it's pretty sad if you ask me. Randy should have won that match. Cody's getting boring. I do like Cody, I always have. He would have been better as a heel, but that's besides the fact. Now let's go on to night 2. Night 2 had no surprises at all. Oba versus Brock, awesome match. I would have loved to see Brock Lesnar win that match because back in the day when new wrestlers came in, they didn't just come in and win. You know, they would lose and then they'd build credibility. Everybody thinks Oba should have won this, and I respect your opinion if that's what you believe. But in my opinion, unless this was Brock's retirement match, then I believe Brock should have won. It was pretty crazy hearing the fans say, "Thank you, Brock." Brock's supposed to be a heel. I prefer kayfabe, you know? Kayfabe's dead these days. Unreal killed that. Back in the day, Undertaker and Paul Heyman, when they were at gas stations, they had to keep character. Psycho Sid, or Sid Vicious, whatever you want to call him, when he was in bars, he would have to keep kayfabe. $1 Million Man, all these guys. Vince McMahon used to buy Ted DiBiase pretty much whatever he wanted because he had to live as the $1 Million Man on and off stage. But nowadays, kayfabe is dead. So, as I said, the Intercontinental Championship, Penta retained, no surprise there. Yeah, I thought Javon Evans was going to win. Thank God he didn't. Nobody else in that match even had a chance at winning, except for maybe Dragon Lee. But, you know, what's that going to do for anybody? Nothing. And Trick Williams beat Sami Zayn. Great job. Trick Williams is probably the best character on television right now, and that's because Paul Levesque isn't writing for him. Somebody else is. Not sure who it is, but he admitted on screen that he's not writing for him. So that's probably why his character is the best. I just hope they don't turn him face after this, because just because the crowd likes somebody doesn't mean you have to turn them face. You know, they did that with LA Knight. And since then, he's been boring. Boring. But I do like LA Knight. He should go back to being a heel, and he'd be a lot more interesting. Rhea Ripley versus Jade Cargill. We all knew Rhea Ripley was going to win. Only people that are happy are the Goths and the 12-year-olds again. It's like Jey Uso winning the World Heavyweight Championship. I would have liked to see Jade retain here. I'm not even the biggest Jade fan, but I'm definitely not a Rhea fan. Sorry to say, guys, but I'm not. There's really nothing special about her. I could go over the women's roster right now and tell you why all these other women are much more credible than her, you know? One example alone is Chelsea Green. She's good in the ring, and she's even better on the mic. Yeah, Rhea's good in the ring, but she's the most boring on the mic. Io is way better than her in the ring, but look what they're doing with Io, you know? They're making her Rhea's lapdog, like her girlfriend or something. This is crazy. It really is, guys. Liv Morgan on night 1, she beat Stephanie Vaca. We all knew that was going to happen. I'm happy that she beat her. These promos in Spanish aren't really doing anything for me. We live in North America. Sorry, guys, we speak English here. I shouldn't have to be translating my TV or put on subtitles, you know? If I was in Mexico or any other Spanish-speaking country, then I could see it. but we live in America. And then last match that I'll talk about is the main event, Roman Reigns versus CM Punk. Very good match, actually. Roman had a few late kickouts, but I'm not even a very big CM Punk fan either. But the best move of that whole night was when CM Punk jumped off the turnbuckle and elbow dropped Roman on that table. That was pretty impressive for 45-year-old Phil Brooks. 46, however old he is. He doesn't even go to the gym. Look at this guy. But we all knew Roman was going to win. Thank God he did, because I can't stand CM Punk being champion, especially as a face. This guy keeps talking about being held down by Vince McMahon. Now, when I go back to when CM Punk started and to when Vince McMahon left, I can see that he was not held down by any means. He's been a multiple time world heavyweight champion. He's also been a WWE champion. He won so many matches. I could tell you many other wrestlers that are held down a lot more than Phil Brooks was. You know, it's just ridiculous hearing that. You know, you got guys like Chad Gable who are way better than Phil Brooks in the ring. And yeah, he's shorter than CM Punk, but he actually has some mass on him. He goes to the weight room, he works out, and he's a real credible wrestler. And he hasn't won a single championship besides the tag team championships. CM Punk's won pretty much everything there is. So I don't see it, Phil Brooks. I just don't see it. Now, Triple H just came out and he talked about how WrestleMania 40 was his first WrestleMania without Vince McMahon. But the script was actually written by Vince McMahon. So all these years that we actually thought that Triple H was running this, it was still Vince McMahon right up until just recently. And is that why WWE is really not good now? Is that why it's real trash? Because Vince McMahon, like him or not, his father owned this before he did. And he was born into this. And he was behind the scenes. And he learned everything about wrestling. So he can write a script. He can book a card. He can produce. He can do it all. Paul Levesque, all he ever did was kiss ass to get to the top. He married the boss's daughter. He even takes anything out of the WWE website that makes him look weak. I mean, look at the match with him and the Ultimate Warrior. Ultimate Warrior squashed him in seconds for the Intercontinental Championship. And they removed that from everything. They scrubbed it. It's just crazy, this guy's ego. And it's sad to say, because once again, I'll say it again, Triple H was my favorite in the 2000s. But this is getting bad, guys. I'm debating on just stopping watching again. You know, I've been watching this stuff since the late 80s. And I stopped watching it in 2002. And I started watching again a couple years later. And I'm ready to stop watching again. Maybe I'll just keep watching AEW. But other than that, what do you guys think? Did you like WrestleMania 42? Was it good? Was it bad? I give it 2 thumbs down. I say it's the worst WrestleMania of all time. I hope that was well worth it, guys. Follow, like, and subscribe.